Cold water doesn't kill you fast. Hopelessness does. And during World War II, stranded sailors learned that survival wasn't always about guns or ships, but about a fist-sized stove that produced heat without a visible flame. This wasn't a myth. It was issued, tested, and trusted in the most unforgiving place on Earth, the open ocean. Before we dive in, if you enjoy uncovering forgotten survival technology that still outperforms modern prepping gear, hit subscribe now so you don't miss the next hidden code of survival. This story begins where most war stories end, after the explosion, after the sinking, after the silence. Thousands of Allied sailors found themselves floating in lifeboats and rafts, surrounded by freezing water, with no shelter, soaked clothes, and wind cutting through bone. The stove was usually paired with metal containers that transferred heat efficiently while shielding the reaction from wind. You didn't cook a meal, you revived one. Hard biscuits softened. Emergency rations became digestible. Water warmed just enough to stop the shivering. It wasn't luxury. It was controlled survival. What makes this stove remarkable isn't just the technology. It's the philosophy behind it. WWII survival gear assumed the worst. It assumed panic, injury, darkness, cold hands, limited time. The stove was designed to work even when the user was weak, shaking, or barely conscious. No moving parts, no ignition, no fine motor skills required. That mindset is something modern survival culture often forgets. Many sailors later reported that the stove did more than provide heat. It restored a sense of control. When everything else was gone, activating the stove felt like taking action instead of just waiting to die. That psychological edge, well, it really mattered. Survival experts today still agree that, morale can be as important as calories. The stove also challenged a long-standing belief that fire is always necessary for warmth. This device proved that heat, not flame, is the true goal. Modern chemical hand warmers owe more to this World War II technology than most people realize. The difference is that wartime versions were designed for extended use in brutal environments, not weekend camping trips. Another forgotten detail is how standardized and widespread these stoves became. They weren't experimental gadgets, they were issued equipment, mass-produced, tested under combat conditions, refined through real loss and real survival. When a sailor climbed into a lifeboat, this stove was part of the system keeping him alive until rescue. And, rescue was never guaranteed. In the Atlantic and Pacific, some men drifted for days or even weeks. Exposure killed more sailors than enemy fire. The lifeboat stove didn't promise survival, it bought time. And in war, time is everything. What's striking is how quietly this technology disappeared after the war. As ships improved and rescue times shortened, the need faded. But the lesson didn't. Low-tech, reliable, invisible survival tools outperform complex systems when conditions collapse. The flameless lifeboat stove is proof. For history's survival code, this stove represents the core idea of the channel. Survival isn't about fantasy gear. It's about what actually worked when failure meant death. This wasn't a gadget for show. It was designed by people who knew that cold kills faster than hunger, and that hope needs fuel too. If you're into modern prepping, there's a lesson here. Don't chase flames. Chase heat. Don't chase complexity. Chase reliability. And, well, never underestimate how much a simple system can do when everything else is stripped away. The World War II lifeboat stove burned without fire, without light, and without noise, but it burned against despair. It kept hands moving, minds sharp, hearts beating. It didn't win battles. It saved men who lived to tell the truth about survival. If this kind of forgotten wartime survival knowledge matters to you, make sure you subscribe to History's Survival Code and share this story with someone who thinks modern gear has all the answers. The past still knows things we've forgotten.